we're about to take full control. Yeah, now we're about to take full ownership. And so just do me a favor real quick, just because I know how it is sometimes where somebody is seeing a change and you're not seeing a change. I just want to prove it to you that I'm not crazy and it's not just me. We're 15 days in now, which means we're hit the halfway point. If you felt any significant mindset shift, any change in your mindset and your thought process, just jump into the chat for me and just type the word mindset. If you have it, it's okay. We got 15 days to help change it. But if you felt some type of difference, come on, I'm just looking for you in the chat. Just say mindset, mindset, mindset. Yeah. I've learned something. I've applied it. My mindset's a little different now. Yeah, I know. I used to think like that, but my mindset is telling me I don't think like that no more. Yeah, I've grinded a little bit more. I view things a little bit differently. Oh, yeah. Hallelujah. Thank you, God. Thank you, God, for the different mindset. Yep. So watch this, guys. Watch this. Because there's a saying, and it's a quote, because it's important. I'm going to read the whole quote to you. But the quote says, between stimulus and response is a space. In that space is our power to choose. Yeah, I'll say it again. I want to give us our power today. Because in life, what happens is a stimulus, right? Something happens. And then there's a space, and then it's how our response. How you respond to that thing dictates a lot in your life. And so today I want to kind of focus on the response. Somebody just say response. I want to focus on not on what happens to us, but how we respond to what happens to us. And so in order for me to effectively do this, I want to start real quick with a video. And when we play this video, I just want you to do me a favor, because they're going to say the word SEAL to become a Navy SEAL. I don't want you to focus on the word Navy SEAL. What I want you to focus on is every time you hear Navy SEAL, I want you to think about your goals. Yeah, I'll say it again, because if you're not ready, you're going to miss it. But when they say the word Navy SEAL, we hear goals, because the realization is there's a similarity, there's a metaphor, if you could, between the video I'm about to show you and the goals that you told me you have. Yeah, I have to emphasize that the goals that you told me you have, because sometimes I know how easy it is in our brain to be like, man, I didn't even want to do that. You said all these goals. That's the thing that I love. You said you want to start getting up early. You said you want to work out. You said you want more money. Don't blame nobody else if you don't do it. You got to be honest with yourself. Yeah, I did say that. I do want to do that. I know it hasn't happened yet. Come on, mindset. All right, watch this, guys. Let me hit this button so we can share this. Yo, come on. Start broadcast. Here we go.
SEALs, called BUDS, is known as one of the most arduous trials in the military. To better understand how intense and grueling Hell Week really is, CBS 8's Brian White spoke with a retired Navy SEAL.
It's called Hell Week for a reason, testing the physical and mental strength of Navy SEAL candidates. And if you can get through it, you can get through just about anything.
3 weeks into the first phase of BUDS training, Hell Week is an exhaustive test of someone's commitment to becoming a Navy SEAL.
I call it a gut check to see who really wants to be there and is not going to quit regardless of how miserable they are.
Paul Anderson is a former Navy SEAL who retired from the Navy in 2012, and he recalls the time he went through it.
You get 4 hours of sleep. You're not allowed to have any caffeine. So throughout the entire week, you're hungry, you're cold, you're sandy, you're wet.
In this grueling 5-day stretch, each candidate runs more than 200 miles and sleeps only a total of 4 hours during the entire time. The rigorous schedule involves at least 20 hours of physical training each day.
It's just the confusion, the tiredness, the hallucinations. So, you got to continually prove yourself and get faster and get stronger.
Last Friday, 24-year-old Kyle Mullen died at the end of Hell Week. According to Paul, safety measures and daily checkups with doctors make this kind of tragedy a rare occurrence. But when it does happen, it hurts the whole SEAL community.
When something like this happens, it's horrible. Just the whole community is shocked at what happens when somebody dies in training.
The BUDS course is regarded as one of the toughest training regimens in the U.S. military. It prepares candidates for dangerous situations they'll face later on.
You have to dig down deep in your guts. You have to have that fortitude, that intestinal fortitude to push forward, to keep going. It's in your gut or in your heart and in your head.
I'm Brian White for CBS 8.
Investigate.
Yeah, that was good. So watch this, guys. Watch this, because of course the video isn't actually about us becoming Navy SEALs, but it's about what? the mindset. And so what blew my mind as I began to watch this is, why would somebody put themselves through that type of life? Why would you do all of that to become a Navy SEAL? And it's because of the mindset. And so remember, we discussed this concept, neuroplasticity, right? The thought that our brain has the ability to change, the thought that our brain has the ability to learn new things and rewire itself. Because I promise you, as we begin to discuss this, most of our brains ain't signing up to be a Navy SEAL. And that's why I said, don't think Navy SEAL, think goals. Because the stuff they were saying is the same things that it's going to take for you to accomplish your goals. Yeah, would you be willing to die to reach your goal? Would you be willing to sleep for 4 hours and stay up for 20 hours to reach your goal? Would you be willing to not eat, to not sleep, to not see your family to reach your goal? See, some of us say we want to reach this goal, but let's be honest, we don't want it badder than we want to breathe. We don't want it like it's life or death. We just say we want the goal because it sounds good. And then you have people who are literally putting their life on the line to accomplish a goal, to accomplish a task. And here we are acting like we deserve what they deserve, but we're not willing to put up what they're willing to put up. Mindset. So watch this, guys. Watch this. Because the thing that I love is we have the ability to choose. Yep, we have the ability to choose. And so as we jump into our affirmations today, do me a favor. If you're sitting on your bed or if you're laying down, just jump up real quick and get to the mirror. You've been on the call for 14 minutes already, so you're up. You might as well just get up. Come on, don't wake up and lay there. Yeah, come on. Don't wake up and lay up. Yeah, I'm sorry. Tell him you got to go. Tell her you got stuff to do. We got to get into our mirror. And if you're in your mirror, do me a favor as you sit there. Just like the Navy SEALs, I promise you, as you chase your goals, it won't be easy. I promise you, as you chase your goals, it's going to be painful. It's going to be tiresome. But guess what I've learned? This is what you got to tell your brain this morning, because I learned this. I can push through my pain. Come on, say that to yourself. Yeah. Come on. I know it hurts, but I can push through it. The craziest thing to me is, if you're going through something and it's painful, why would you stop in the middle of pain? Huh? If you're going through something and it's painful and you stop, the pain stays forever. Yep, I can push through my pain. Yeah, it might be physical pain, but I can push through it. It might be mental pain, but I can push through it. It's an emotional hurt, but I can push through it. Because what I learned is, in the gym, it might be painful, but if you just push and finish that set, guess what? After you're done, you'll feel stronger. I can push through my pain. Yep, come on, the second one that I need you guys to tell yourself. We've been working on our brain all week. We've been working on our brain all month. Yeah, the second thing I need you to tell yourself is, just because my brain says it doesn't make it true. Yeah. Come on. Just because my brain says it doesn't make it true. My brain be trying to trick me all the time. I'll be having to remind myself, hey, slow down, man. That's not true. Yeah, that's not true. You told yourself that. That's not true. Come on. Just because my brain says it, it doesn't make it true. And then our third affirmation, just our monthly reminder. Who's the greatest miracle? Come on, put your name in there. I am nature's greatest miracle. Yep, I am. Yeah, the day that I was born, there was a rainbow and God was smiling down. I am nature's greatest miracle. Yep, come on, I see your toy. Put your name in there. Yep, come on, put your name in there. And as we begin today, guys, as we dive in, I've learned this, but most of us have heard the fight or flight, right? It's a response to stimulus. Well, sometimes when people hit a situation, hit adversity, hit opposition, it's fight or flight. Meaning what? Meaning I'm going to stand up and I'm going to fight back, or I'm going to flee, I'm going to surrender, and I'm going to stop. And now I've come to learn that neither one is right or wrong depending on the situation. But I've come to learn that if you don't identify which one you fall under, you may do the opposite of what you actually intend to do. And so as we dive in today, I want to begin to view our lives and view the stimulus that happens around us and how we respond to it. Because believe it or not, believe it or not, if you can control your response to things that happen in your life, you can control your life. And what we want to do is, instead of responding, we want to begin to react. Yep, come on. If you're next to somebody, just tap them. Just say react. We don't want to respond to life. We want to react. Yep, come on. So watch this, guys. Watch this. Because the first thing I want to do is draw our attention or our awareness to noticing the space, right? I'm going to call it the space. But if you remember, something happens and then there's a space and then there's our response, right? Our kids aren't waking up in the morning. Okay, so watch this. Wow, I want to break this down. The stimulus, our kids aren't waking up. The space, the response, now we're mad. Now we're angry. right? Somebody cuts us off in traffic. That's the stimulus. And then there's a space, and then it's over cussing them out and sticking a finger up outside the window that shouldn't be stuck up, right? There's always the space before something happens. And what we're learning today is that space is where our power is, because that space helps you dictate how you react. And if you can control how you react, come on, somebody got it. Somebody got it. So watch this, guys. Watch this. Because as you bring your attention to this space, as you're more aware of this space, you begin to gain your control over this space. And so what I want to do is there's been a pause, right? That's before you say something, before you do something or react, during that pause, I want us to begin to notice the space. And so I want to give us some tangible things that we can do in order for us to become more intentional about this space, about the gap between stimulus and response. And so one thing that we can do is mindful practices like meditation, right? We've been doing that. Yep, you guys are right. I'm sorry, let me slow down. Yeah, one thing that we can do is a mindful practice called meditation. And so what happens is, oh, this happened yesterday. Let me review. Oh, I responded like this. Oh, let me just think to myself, oh, I could have responded like this instead. Right? You meditate, you think about your life, you think about how you respond to certain things. Because what happens is if you're not responding how you want to be portrayed as, you can change it. Yep, so watch this. Meditation, labeling emotions. This is important. This is important. Because just because you feel an emotion doesn't mean the emotion is true. Yeah, I can say to myself, man, I'm feeling angry, but I'm not upset. I'm feeling happy, but nothing is making me happy. I can label the emotion, and once I can say to myself and put a word to how I'm feeling, guess what? I can better understand it. Words are important. Yeah, somebody needs to write that down. Words are important. Words are important. There's a reason that there's different words for stuff. And then the last way we can be mindful is a trigger journal. Yeah, a trigger journal. Yeah, what's that, Tavon? A trigger journal is when we write and keep track of our strong reactions and our strong emotions. Yeah, things that trigger us and make us react very strongly. And when I say strongly, you can tell the difference between those weak emotions and those strong emotions. That emotion that got you ready to fight. Yeah, that's strong emotion. But when we have a trigger journal and we can track our emotions and what triggers us, guess what we begin to learn? Oh, I actually get upset when I see the color red. I don't know why, but every time I see the color red, I just get mad. And so now guess what I do? Because I'm more mindful about this, every time I see the color red, I force myself to think about something positive to counteract. Yep. Somebody's just experiencing growth right now. Like, oh, I never even. Yep. Come on, that's what personal development is. So watch this, guys. Watch this, because the second thing I want to introduce, the second mechanism I want to provide is expanding the space. Yeah, the gap. Remember, there's a stimulus, and then boom. So watch this. This is what I've learned. When people have quote unquote anger issues, what that actually is when there's a stimulus, the gap is so small, right? So there's a stimulus, and before you even think, before anything even happens, boom, you react out of anger because it's just a reaction. Yeah, boom, as soon as something happens, I'm upset. The anger issues, right? But what I've learned is if we can control this, yeah, their space is small, and that the stimulus, boom, the response. But what if we could expand that space from, let's just say, 1 second? I'm not even saying you got to expand it for a long time. But what if something happens to the stimulus and then boom, we give it a second before we respond or react? What if we gave it 5 seconds? What if we gave it 10 seconds? So the concept that I want to introduce is called a sacred pause, a sacred pause. When we just take a few seconds of non-reaction. Yeah, again, I'm just trying to give you different things to try, because what we can't do is every time something happens, a stimulus, we automatically just jump and react. What if you just paused and gave yourself 10 seconds to think, digest before you respond or react? What thing would have gone differently in your life? Because I promise you, when I lost my scholarship, the thought process was life is over, right? I don't know what I'm going to do anymore. I didn't stop to think, oh, I can transfer. Oh, I can get another scholarship. Oh, I could be a preferred walk-on. Nope, my brain instantly went to drama and dramatized the event, and then guess what happened? Now it's an emotional response. Yep, come on. Somebody's picking this up. This is good. Yeah, this is good. So watch this, guys. Another thing, taking a deep breath can also shift your brain from reaction to reflection. Yep. If somebody, I'm going to give us some tangible stuff. Taking a deep breath, literally. Something happens, and now guess what? Instead of reacting, we're reflecting. You know what? That didn't happen to me. That person cut me off, and look, they just got in an accident. God, thank you for protecting me. All from 2 seconds of reflecting instead of reacting with anger, reacting with a curse word or finger. And then the other thing that goes with this, because it's three separate things, right? The mindfulness piece, the expanding the space piece, and then there's a third piece I'm about to get to. But the expanding the space piece, the third and last part to this expanding the space piece. Remember I said you can track, you can breathe, you give it 1 second, 5 seconds, 10 seconds. But the third thing that's important is this acronym called STOP. Yeah, I want you guys to write this down. STOP. The S in STOP stands for stop. The T stands for take a deep breath. Yeah, I'm sorry, you guys are writing as I'm talking. Yep, S stands for stop. T stands for take a deep breath. The O stands for observe your thoughts. And then the P stands for proceed with intention. Whenever we're faced with a challenge or a stimulus, we can stop, take a deep breath, observe our thoughts, and then proceed with intention. And when we do this, what we begin to see is the reaction that we provide is more aligned with who we're trying to be. Yeah, but so guys, I close this thing out, guys. The last thing is choice. Yeah, the last thing is choice. I want us to begin to proceed with caution. I have to fully flush this out, because what we begin to see is how this is going to control our lives, how this is going to change our lives. So watch this, guys. Watch this. I want us to respond instead of react. I want us to challenge our automatic thoughts. Yeah, write that down. Automatic thoughts. What are automatic thoughts? The thoughts that as soon as something happens, the ones that just pop into your head. Yeah, come on. I know. I don't want to call anybody out, but I know some of us have those automatic thoughts. As soon as something happens, I knew it. This wasn't meant to be. I knew I couldn't graduate college. That house wasn't supposed to be mine. I knew it. But what if we could begin to challenge those thoughts? Yeah, those automatic thoughts. And what if we could reframe them? Yeah, I want to introduce this concept called a value-based decision. Yeah, how do your reactions reflect who you want to be? Yep, you're thinking about it. How do my reactions reflect who I want to be? Because if I was to be honest with you guys and just ask you guys, has anybody ever reacted a specific way and then looked back and was like, "Ooh, I was out of character." Yeah, that wasn't even me. I owe them an apology. I shouldn't have even said that. Yeah, I shouldn't have even did that. Yeah, my response, I didn't even think about, and now I'm looking back and I'm like, shoot, I shouldn't have did that. Yeah, come on, I've been there too, and that's why this is so important, because our responses should align with our values, and our values are who we're really trying to be. So watch this, guys. As I put a bow on this thing and tie it all together, this is important, because we know that life isn't what happens to you, but how you respond to it. And if I could draw the parallel between our goals and this information, what we begin to see is when things get hard, if our response is incorrect and our response is flight, we won't receive or reach our goals. We would never get there until we change our mindset and to say, I'm willing to fight for my next level. I'm willing to fight for my goals. Yes, this happened. Let me take a second to breathe. Yes, this happened. Let me take a second to reflect. Yes, this happened, but it's not going to kill me. I'm going to choose my response instead of just reacting. However, if we choose to fight for our goals, fight for that next level in our lives, our responses are different, and ultimately our reactions become different. So watch this, guys. 3 tangible takeaways. Number 1, if people can control your response, they can control you. Yep. So watch this, because again, I'm trying to teach us, but if you're not in control of your responses, that means somebody else is. And I try to explain this to kids all the time. If somebody can say something about your mom and get you into a fight, then guess what? You'll be fighting all your life. You get to control your responses. You get to control how you react to situations. And this isn't even about anybody else. This is about your personal goals. Because me and you both know the second you say, I want to accomplish this, the second you say, I want to do this, something is going to shift and it's going to become hard. And you have to make up in your mind, I'm going to push through the hard. Yep, number two. When you control how you respond, you control your outcomes. Yep, come on, I'll say it again. When you control how you respond, you can control your outcomes. Life's not about what happens to you. Stuff happens to everybody. But when stuff happens to some people, they use it as a stepping stone. They use it to bounce back. They use it as a lesson to learn. And then when stuff happens to others, it's debilitating and we can never come back from it. Yeah, if you can control your response, you can control your outcomes. And so, guys, as I land this plane, I want you to realize, number 3, you have more power over your life than you realize. The question for my platinum members, that if you guys have the journals on the Patreon, you'll see the journal, the writing prompt for the day. If you don't have the journal, here's the writing prompt. Just write it somewhere. But as you enter today, the question I have for you is, how can you turn a reaction into a response today? Yeah, instead of me reacting emotionally, instead of me reacting without thinking, how can I turn that into a response? Yeah, I just gave you a lot of information. So you might have to go back and review it. But it's as simply as taking a deep breath when faced with an adverse moment, a trigger journal, writing things down, meditating, all these things that we know, but have you put it into practice? Have you made it tangible and made it actionable? Because believe it or not, the difference between your next level and where you're currently at, that gap, what if that gap is all due to the stimulus and how you respond to it? Yep, come on, somebody got it now. The mindset says things don't happen to me, they happen for me.